Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
We're back, finally.
can you guys believe it?
I know.
Can you guys just take a quick hot dump of a minute
Yeah.
and just believe that we are back? We're back.
For the regular, this is a Saturday.
It's a day off.
This is weird, man.
It's
I
a
don't
day off.
understand it.
It's a day off, but you know what? It's okay because we're getting business taken care
I
of.
felt
We're back.
uncomfortable for 2 weeks. I felt like I was going to explode out my ass.
Did you?
And I did.
I did a couple
Many times out of nervousness because we hadn't done this podcast.
It was weird. I'll admit it was weird being so not talkative for so long.
Yeah. Especially with you. I barely have fucking seen you, dude.
I know. I caught myself like we came home last week, and like we were just sitting. She was on the couch like watching TV, and I was just talking for like an hour. And she was nice enough to not like say anything, and she was just like, you're really in a talkative mood. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't done this in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm, like,
usually
amped.
we like throw up every thought we've had in the week at the end of the week.
Usually we have some time to like manage that, but what are you gonna do? You make it work. You do what you can.
You get talkative, I get nervous and explode.
But
it's crazy.
We are actually back for a brand new fucking episode. How about that, guys?
Because we are starting a cult, and that's Grant and I'm Jake.
Yeah.
And you know what? Another thing that hasn't happened in a while, Mitch is fucking here. He's not in the room, but he's here. I'm going to get him for bananas. It's going to be the best bananas you've ever heard in your fucking life.
Yeah, he is present. I can't believe it. It's been a busy month. We've very much been off schedule since probably the end of June. And it's finally seems to be leveling out here. We're coming in on like the end days of summer, people are routines are coming back into swing. It's time.
Everything's awesome now.
So we have, at least what I have for this episode, it's going to be, you might not think anything of this, okay? I'm going to regale you guys with a tale of what happened while I was on vacation.
Yeah, I've done no research for anything, which probably would have been a good idea.
No, it's okay.
During our respite.
Because what you guys don't understand is I've actually been looking into what we'll probably do in the next couple of weeks, which will be a really fun episode.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. I'm excited for that.
But this one, it really was completely unplanned until about halfway through the vacation, and that was before some of the even weirder shit started to go down. It was a very strange... Jake's phone is ringing.
Here, hang on. It's Griff. He might be doing a podcast, so do you want to do Podception, possibly?
We can try it. Let's see what he's saying. Let's see
right.
What's this guy up to.
Hello?
Hey, bro.
Hey,
picked him up. I like it.
we're doing the podcast now. Are you
Holy shit, this is nuts.
Are you also doing a podcast?
We were gonna finish it up, and I didn't know if you were over there. I said we'll give Jake a call, and he can finish the episode. He can say goodbye to everyone, and then we'll turn it off.
Well, I got news for you. You're on our podcast
How
right now.
about that? Surprise guest.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Oh, no, not yet.
Not yet. Just wait till it's over.
All right. Well, what are you guys talking about? Something interesting?
No.
Boobs.
Boobs,
Yeah,
I
I'll see you
guess.
there.
Yeah, dude.
Sweet.
I can't wait to listen and hear us through the phone. It's gonna be fucking wild.
I
It is
can't
gonna be
wait
weird.
to listen to yours and hear me through the phone.
This is cross promotion at its finest.
Yeah, these are both of my podcasts right now.
How about them apples, guys?
You're kind of like time traveling right now if you think about it.
Yeah, I'm all fucked up.
Well, we're wrapping up. Do you have any, closing remarks?
Get ready. Jake's about to give his closing thoughts.
Have a nice weekend. Have a nice one.
Bananas.
Pleasant.
And bananas.
All right, we'll see you later. I don't know what that was. Goodbye.
All right, I'll see you later.
I like that. That was good.
Wow,
That was
what
very random, but a perfect
bit of
fit.
serendipity. He called me earlier. He was like, "Oh, I thought we were gonna do the Podception thing because I thought we were gonna do this earlier." I had no idea they were still recording. That's amazing.
How funny. I like that. That's a first for us. That's a first. I think we've had people on the phone before, but never they were in the middle of a podcast themselves.
And it's my other podcast.
Exactly.
that I'm here for.
That would be the No Obcast. Make sure you listen.
Wow, that is multitasking on my
Make
part. Good
sure-
for me.
If you guys like Jake, which I know you do because you listen to this show, you love him.
Hey, it's me.
You love him like we all do. Give it a listen. Give it a listen. The No Obcast.
Obcast, yeah.
How about that? What was that? What were we talking about?
We're talking about your vacation.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
It's
so
gonna be great.
I actually went on a vacation that we have done before. So my fiance's best friend lives out in, like, on the border of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, you know?
Yeah.
So we went out there to go visit him. You know, we stay there. It's a nice time. We hung out. So I'll start this by saying, typically, it's normal. You stay up, you have a drink or two, and you go to bed. So I'm just going to jump right into our week, okay?
Just normal everyday stuff.
So the first night that we are there, we're on a much smaller bed. So it's just me and her and the dog on this very small bed. It's not even a bed. It's a mattress that's on the floor, okay?
Classic.
Anyway, so it's late. We're tired. We're going to sleep. So I'm laying there. I'm, like, getting ready to sleep. And she, like, rolls over a little bit and, like, whispers. And I'm like, what? What are you whispering? I can't really hear you right now. She's like, I don't like this. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What?
And she, like, grabbed my arm. And I was like, all right. Well, I was like, just like, put your, like... So, like, my back is, like, facing her now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, just pull the blanket up and just, like, dig into my back or something. I don't know. You don't have to see anything. You just
Dig in.
Just dig in. Just go right into my spine. Anyway, so we go to sleep. We wake up. And I think about it while we're laying there. Like, we're laying there waking up, and I'm like, what the fuck was that all about? And she was like, she doesn't really like talking about it, but she mentioned it anyway. She was like, I saw, like, the Hat Man in the hallway. And I was like, what? Like, no, you didn't.
Infamous shadow creature. The Hat Man.
Yeah, and we've discussed this before where she is very against the antics that I like, such as paranormal and things like that.
Yeah, she's very much a non-believer in pretty much everything we talk about.
Yeah, and she's just a kind heart that accepts it because that's what I like, so she just listens and, digests it and does nothing with it.
And that's your fiance, so,
So I respect it. I'm not going to be pushy. I'm not going to be like, this shit's real because you don't believe it, so it's not, it's fine. But so when she's had experiences like this before, and I was saying this earlier before we started this, actually, that when she says it, immediately I buy it.
It's going to hold some weight there.
Because she doesn't believe in that shit. And it freaked her out enough to where she thought I was asleep, where she, like, woke me up. Or she thought she was waking me up to, like, talk to me about it. Because that's, like, how much it freaked her out.
Yeah.
So, immediately, that was the first night. It was like, okay, that was weird. Maybe the next night, I'll bring my cord in. I'll plug my phone in. We can put on, like, TV or watch Hulu or something. I don't know. Just do something else.
Instead of watching the Hat Man lurk the halls.
Yeah. So, anyways, we wake up the next morning. So it's her and I, and her best friend, and his boyfriend. So we're all eating breakfast, and
which I was informed was a meal of meatballs and potatoes.
Yeah, it was some, like, specialty meatballs he
Interesting.
made. And they were incredible. They were absolutely incredible. Anyway, so we're eating breakfast and we're sitting around the table and we're chatting. And we had never met the boyfriend before. So, we're trying to, like, get him involved a little bit. Just to kind of break the ice and, like, get to know him. And, he was pleasant and stuff. So we were having a good time. Just sitting around, chit-chatting, eating our meatballs. And her friend, who, I've known for some time now because they've been friends forever. So, like, I know him.
Yeah.
And him and I were talking about, I don't remember what, it was nothing important. We were talking about, I don't know, deer or something, like, outside. Because the plan for that day was we had the two dogs. Because for those of you that listen to the show, he is the owner of Navi's sister. So it's like a family reunion as well as visiting friends, So Navi's loving it. We bring him out there because he's hanging out with his sister for a week. So he's in heaven. So he was telling me, he's like, hey, last time you guys were here, it was closed because it wasn't the season. But the park or the trail that's, like, right by the house is open. So you guys want to go do that today? And we're like, yeah, sure. So we're chit-chatting. I'm talking about, like, oh, what if we see this? And he makes a comment about what he says is flesh people.
Flesh people.
Yeah, flesh people. And me immediately being the linguistic jerk that I can be, I'm like, aren't we all just flesh people? Like, isn't that just people? You know?
I don't know if that's like a linguistic jerk sort of situation. That's just you being like,
Like semantically,
yeah,
rude.
you're just like, oh, semantics. It's like, oh, I just want to start a fight right now. I figured it out.
Yeah,
I can do this.
I'm being, I'm just kind of poking the bear a little bit, just like being goofy. And he's laughing, and he's like, he's starting to explain a little bit. He's like, no, like, it was pretty much, that was all we were getting, was like, like blank. And I'm sitting there, and I'm racking my head, and he's like, well, it's like, sort of like shapeshift. And immediately I was like, oh, skinwalkers. Like, without thought. Like,
Yeah.
with no pause. I just blurted it out, because I'm like, oh, that's what he's talking about.
Go listen to our 5-part series on Skinwalker Ranch, by the way.
And immediately the tone in the room changes. And he's not like a rude guy. Like, him and I, like, we get along very well. Like, we have a good time together. We joke. He wasn't, like, being rude or, like, being a dick, but, like, you could tell he got, like,
It was
very
a sense
serious.
of sternness, yeah.
Yeah, he got very, like, serious in the sense of, like, hey, don't say that.
Yeah.
And it like, kind of caught me off guard, because I was like, he's not that kind of guy. Like, I've brought that shit up to him before. Bigfoot and aliens and stuff. And
Yeah.
not that he's not interested in it, but he's not like us where he wants to, like, talk about that. You know?
He's just kind of like, oh, yeah.
So
Anyway.
that it kind of threw me off a little bit. So I'm like, okay. And I unintentionally, I said it again, not like thinking about it. And again, I got the same reaction of like, hey, like, no, we don't say that shit around here. So then I pressed for some info. And I was like, hey, like trying to see kind of like what he knew about it, or like his interest, where his interest lies on that one. And I was like, so, you don't want to say it, is it, like, are we by like a reservation, or like some form of Native American thing?
Because like if people don't know a lot about skinwalkers, like if you say the word skinwalker, a lot of like Native American people think that that's an omen, and like that you're basically calling on them.
Yeah, that's ringing the dinner
Having
bell.
them, yeah.
That's ringing the dinner bell for
They're
them.
going to show up and do their thing.
So I asked, because I was just curious. I was like, is that like, I don't know, is this some like local thing? Like, is that like a thing around here? And he was like, no, not like right here, but he's like, we are like kind of in between like 4 or 5 different like old Indian burial grounds and like reservation type pieces of land.
And you are kind of secluded in this area, this particular very wooded area.
Yeah. And so that was our conversation. I'm going to pause for a quick second, and I'm going to explain to you like the geography of where we are, just so it paints you a better image. I myself is a flatlander my whole life.
Yeah, Wheels McGee over here.
I'm very, very surprised at the amount of twists and turns and hills and mountains that we have to be around. So where he lives is like, you would take the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and then we take this exit. And on this exit, you kind of wind around these loopy roads. It's only about 10 miles off of the highway, but the way the roads are, it's about 30 to 40 minutes to get there from the highway.
10 miles ain't no small feat either.
No. So we're going, and essentially to get there on either side, if you want to picture where his house is, like in the center, on either side of him, in order to get out to go to the surrounding towns, you have to go up and around a mountain and then back down. So he's separated by a mountain.
He lives behind a mountain.
And yeah, it's not like, it's not like fucking Mount Everest, but it's enough to where it takes some time on your journey.
It's not a flat plain, that's for fucking sure.
So, and immediately behind his house is like a boat dock, because he's right on the river. And the river is about 2.5, 3 miles wide and about 40 feet deep. This is pertinent information for later in the story. So I'm just giving you an idea of like where we're at.
Wait, 2.5, 3 mile wide river?
Yeah.
That's, Jesus Christ.
And it's what's funny.
It's a large ass fucking body of water.
What's funny is it literally doesn't look. If you're looking at it like from like the bank, it looks like you could swim across it, like not a problem. But then when you actually like get there, it's like, holy fuck, like it's long.
You're gonna be taken away.
And it's crazy because like when you're standing on the shore looking at it, it really looks like if you had Tom Brady, he could throw a football to the other side. But like, I don't know if it's just the way it dips and goes down or what. But like, it is. That was alarming in and of itself. Anywho,
My lack of perception of nature.
so we're in a mountain town, and it's a very secluded area, low population. There's houses around within walking distance, but they're not going to hear you if you're playing loud music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Kind of like in Wisconsin where we could just scream into the night.
Yeah, sort
Nothing
of.
would happen. We were shooting guns. No one heard.
And
No one heard.
so that Sunday, I'm going back to the tale of what's going on here. So that Sunday, we're going to the park. And after you get out of his house, you walk maybe a block and a half, and there's a big tunnel. And then that tunnel is the trail. So you walk up the trail, and you walk a little less than a mile, maybe like 3/4 of a mile up the trail.
This is like a man-made tunnel, not a tunnel made of brush or something?
No, it's a man-made tunnel.
All right.
But so you do that, and you walk up this trail, and throughout the trail, there's like little gazebos and stuff. It's like a park.
The gazebo.
But so we walked up kind of far into the park, and it was probably about 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., 4:30. And we got to this place where the creek is. It's like a very low creek, and there's a bridge that goes over it, but there's also on the actual trail that you walk, there's like a giant stone in the creek, and it goes up the stone, so the water's only about an inch deep, so you can like walk across it.
That sounds iffy.
It was cool though. So like we hung out there because it was like the dogs were playing. They had room to run. There was like places to sit down and kind of like out of the woods.
Yeah.
So we're just like doing our thing, and we're there probably about 3 hours at this point, and we're watching birds. We're watching the occasional like chipmunks.
Maybe the sky is doing something.
Yeah, like it's just fun. We're having a good time. We brought a speaker, so we're listening to music. The dogs are going bananas. We're throwing rocks and shit like in the water and like trying to skip rocks, just fucking around.
Yeah, nice day at the water.
We brought like a giant gallon canteen full of margaritas.
Oh, excellent.
So like we're having a good time. We're enjoying our stay out here in nature. And this is where for me, this is where my first experience gets kind of weird. So like I said, you had to go up the mountain to get out.
Classic.
So where we are, we're nestled in between the two roads that go up the mountain. So we're in like a little gully between the mountain that rises.
Sounds good.
So on either side of us is street. There's probably about 1/4 of a mile or a little bit more of trees blocking. But it goes up, like very vertical, very fast.
Yeah. Mountain.
And on occasion, you'd hear a car like coming down, and you could hear it. It sounded like they were in the fucking park because it's like the road is right there. So we're playing, we're doing our thing, having some margaritas.
What's Navi doing? How does Navi like the woods?
He's doing okay. He doesn't like water, but we got him to kind of go in like the dog ankle deep water.
Oh, you gotta just toss him in like a toddler.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We'll get to that. So anyways, the day goes on, and we're hearing like birds and shit, and my fiance hears what sounds like a tree falling. And it's not like, the way I would describe it is like, it's not as if you like cut a branch and dropped a branch, Like it was enough to where you couldn't push that sound out of a tree.
It's the old philosophical question.
Yeah, it is. And we heard that, and it was like, whatever, it's fucking the woods. I don't know, shit happens all the time. Maybe something fucking fell, I don't know.
I think nature must have happened.
Yeah, exactly. So you think nothing of it. Then time goes on, it's maybe another 20 minutes, we hear it again. And we're like, okay, this is odd, to say the very least.
What's the beaver population like?
Well, that's a question I don't know, so that very easily
I don't know where
explained
they're
by the
native
beavers.
to. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, so we keep going, we're going, and it gets, we didn't really pay attention to it right away, because, you're not focused on that, but it starts to get quiet, like slowly. Like, the birds kind of slow down. You're not hearing chirping. You're not really hearing stuff. All at this point you're hearing is, like, the music, us chatting, and, like, the creek, the little stream of the creek. And so the dogs are getting tired. They've been there a couple hours. So they sit down, and they're sitting next to each other, and they keep looking at this patch of woods, like, behind us.
Okay.
They keep looking at it, and they're not barking or anything, but they keep looking that way.
Just out of curiosity, so I have a better picture of this setting. is back behind you, is that like where you came from on the trail? Or does the trail like kind of, or where you're sitting, is that like alongside the trail?
So we're on the trail.
I'm just wondering if whatever is behind you is near the trail that you have to go back to.
It is. It's actually the other way, but like the trail, it goes back to a Boy Scout lodge, I think. So we didn't go that far to the lodge.
Yeah.
But we were kind of like in between the lodge and back to the house. And so it came from sort of the way we were facing, we were sitting on the trail and facing where the river would be. So that would be, I think, east or west. We were facing west.
It's one of the two.
Wait, let me think, because I know where the sun was. So wait, the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. So we were, if you're looking west and you turn to the left, we were facing south.
What the fuck?
So we're facing south.
So you weren't just staring into the sun.
No. We were like watching the creek and like the woods and stuff. So we're sitting there, we're facing south, and the noise comes from north. So like on the opposite side of the trail of us.
The higher ground.
And that's where the road is. Like the trees go up on the mountain into the road. So the road is up there. And we hear 3 very, very, very clear knocks. Like it's timed out evenly where it's like.
Wait a minute. My microphone is hooked up to a wooden table today.
Okay.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We hear that, but it was louder. And immediately my nerdy ass goes into like, that's Bigfoot. And we're laughing like, oh yeah, haha, whatever. So, a few minutes go by, we see more birds, like, okay, things are going back to normal. You forget about it. Time passes. It's starting to get a little bit darker. It's about 8:30. Like, the sun is set, but it's still bright,
Yeah.
So we're kind of like getting ourselves ready. We're like, all right, we're going to let the dogs have one more run. And, we'll start packing our shit up and we'll go.
It's like our gallon of margarita is gone. We need to go re-up.
Yeah, it's like we're going to get out of here. So we're getting ready, like, kind of organizing our shit. And then it happens again. And it's from a different side. So now this one, that happened north. So this one would have been east. It comes from the east.
It comes from the east.
And it was again. And it was the 3 knocks again in perfect rhythm of each other. And this is when I'm like, okay. So I'm talking to him, and he's like, that's a woodpecker. And I'm like, I know, I've seen woodpeckers, and they don't space out their pecks.
Woodpeckers sound like, I don't even know what they sound like, but they don't sound like fucking branches smacking against trunks.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're more like, I don't know. If you were to write it out, it'd be like ticka 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 ticka. It'd be like that. It wouldn't be like.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be like that either. But
so
I'm not good at noises.
I'm kind of like now. I'm interested. I want to know what's going on here. I'm interested.
So you said, all right. Sorry to pause again.
Yeah.
So you said you thought it was a Bigfoot, eh?
At first, I thought I'd said it as a joke. The second time, I started to think a little bit more.
Like maybe it might be. I seem to remember you saying on one episode, I don't know what episode it was. It may have been the Bigfoot one. It may have been a different one. An episode of our show where you claim that if you were to come across a Bigfoot, you would sacrifice yourself to him.
I did say that.
And you would wear like a suit of meat like fucking Lady Gaga with all the accoutrement in your pockets.
And do you want to know what's funny?
I'm talking mustard.
I
relish.
lived up to that hype.
You did?
Oh,
you had the gallon of margarita.
Because I jokingly said, I was like, that's a Bigfoot. And they were like, well, if it is, we're running. And I was like, I'm staying. I'm like, you guys go. I'll sacrifice myself if that's what this is. Like, I'll wait. So I lived up to that hype a little bit.
I think you may have said it on the show in the context of, like, if that would prove that he's real.
Yeah, in this instance,
so no one would be around to see you just get mauled.
I didn't have the balls to, like, go up and find it. So anyways, we're sitting there. It happens again. The dogs look again, and this time it's back north in the first spot.
Okay.
And the dogs are looking at they're getting like they're not spiky, but like they're intrigued by something. Like something's just off,
Yeah.
And it happens again. The 3 consecutive knocks. This is the 3rd time. And at that point we are like, we're gonna go.
Yeah. 9 knocks is too many.
So I know I did not see a Bigfoot. I have no way. It could have been anything. It literally could have been anything. I'm not even suggesting it was a Bigfoot. However, it was an odd experience, you know?
Much of the time when you hear stories about either Bigfoot or like either even aliens, like just anything that's in the woods that's like a foreboding presence, every story is like, yeah, everything stopped. Like there was no noise.
Yeah.
No noise at all.
And it's weird. So we fucking X out. So we leave. And that night was the end of the weirdness. So fast forward a couple days, because the next 2 days we were kind of out and about. We went into town and stuff and did some like more touristy shit. You know, like we went to like the not fancy, but like the popular restaurants and like tried some food and stuff.
Yeah, excellent.
So we did that. You know, we went around.
You went to Bennigan's?
We went to a Perkins breakfast. Then the next day we went to Pittsburgh and we went to the casino and IKEA and we ate at some like I don't know, some fucking beer place or something. It was pretty good.
Sweet.
Anyways, so the next day, well, after that, so this would be Wednesday. Wednesday we decide. Wait, fuck. I can't even get my days straight. No,
I was just here in Indiana. Can't help
I'm sorry. This was Wednesday. I was correct in the first instance. So this is Wednesday.
Right.
So we're like, you know, we were busy the last couple of days. We're kind of tired. Like we just want to hang out. And this goes back to the river. So we were like, you know what? Let's just hang out. We'll sit outside. You know, have some drinks. You know, maybe chit chat, play some games or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you know, we're gonna go swimming. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm in a wheelchair, so I can't go into my chair. And it's swimming. I like swimming, but I don't like the process of getting in and out of the swimming region.
Yeah.
It's just like a pain in the ass.
It's a lot.
Just not cool.
Yeah.
So I made the executive decision. I was like, you know, I'll hang out on the dock. I know Navi's not gonna go swimming. So like, I'll be with him.
Navi.
So they're swimming. You know, kind of swimming around, hanging out. We did get Navi in the water. He swam for a little while.
Wait, good. Like more than ankle deep?
Yeah, he was like floating, like paddling.
Oh my god.
We got him.
We got him, folks.
We got him. He liked it a little
Doggy
bit.
paddling in its truest
He
form.
might act like he didn't, but he was curious to try it again. He kept like going in. He's like, nah, no, I'm not gonna do it.
It's dangerous in there.
So anyways, it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and you know they were laughing. Because he has a bunch of floaties like rafts and inner tubes and shit.
Sweet.
And if you follow the river to the right of like where we were, it takes you into like this like weird swampy region. And he was like, I want to go check that out. And my fiance was like, no, you know, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave, you know, Grant the dog. And I was like, just go. Like, I don't care.
That's I would just say, I don't want to take a fucking floaty into a swamp. Are you fucking me?
Yeah, but I was like, no, you know, it's fine. I appreciate it. And so she was like, well, I'm going to run in the house anyway because I want to go to the bathroom and, like, not pee in the river.
Oh, that's nature's bathroom.
And, well, she's not about that. So I was like, that's fine.
It's not the Amazon. There's no urethra danger.
So we're hanging out. She's ready. She's like, okay, so, like, you know, are you okay hanging out with Navi? I was like, I don't care. You know, I'm fucking do what I got to do.
You live with that guy.
And she was like, you know, do you want to keep she was like, because, you know, if you let him out, he's going to, like, want to run and find us. So she was like, do you want to, like, we can either put him on the lead and, you know, you guys can hang out in the yard. Or, you know, if you guys want to go in the house, you know, you have TV, he can lay down a little bit. And I was like, you know, he's tired, he's sweaty. Well, the dog's not sweat, but you know what I mean.
He's panting vigorously.
Like, yeah, he had a busy day, so I'm like, you know, let's just go in the house. That way, you know, if people come by, he's not bothering them, they're not bothering us. And, you know, I watch some TV, whatever. So they were like, you know, you sure? I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
You said, get the fuck out, I gotta masturbate.
I did not, though. But,
oh, yeah, because of what's going to happen next.
So this was not a paranormal experience. This was just a very weird experience. So I'm in the house, and keep in mind, it's a very, very, very old house. Like, I'm talking 100-plus years old.
Yeah. You step on a wrong board, it's turning into dust, and you're going through the fucking ceiling of the basement.
And it's a fixer-upper. Like, it needs some work, but, like, yeah, you make it work. It's fun. You know, we have a good time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, I'm there. I'm watching TV. I'm, you know, playing Xbox a little bit.
I fucking forgot you brought your Xbox. I'm pissed we didn't game at all while you were out there.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to. I brought it I'll talk about that at the end. But I brought it for a very specific game I planned on playing, and then it just never happened.
The one that we're going to play tonight after I leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So
Anyways, so I'm inside, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to, like, get into gaming right now. So I was like, I'll just play 2K, the basketball game. I was like, I'll just fuck around and play myself.
Yeah, do some 3-pointers.
So I'm playing.
Break motherfuckers' ankles.
And he comes back, and he was laughing. He comes in the house, like, I didn't expect him to be back so soon. And his dog, Navi's sister, likes to swim. Like, she loves the water, because that's where they live. So she's used to it,
Aqua dog.
And he was laughing. He's like, so she jumped on me, and she, like, her claw snapped my floaty. So, like, he was like, I swam back, and he was like, I'll just say, her name's Jayla. I don't know why I keep calling her fiance. Jayla.
Yeah, I've said Jayla, and then you keep saying fiance, so I was like, did I do something wrong?
No, I don't know why.
Yeah, fiance's name is Jayla.
So Jayla was out there, and he was like, I'm going to go get the kayak. Because, we got the other floaty out there, so he's like, we'll bring it back, and then, we don't have to swim this whole way.
And aren't boats just very robust floaties?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
They really are.
No, yeah.
So he's going back. And he's like, is it cool if I leave Mila, Navi's sister, in the house? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I don't care. I'll hang out. I'll pet the dogs.
Dogs are excellent, yeah.
So he leaves. He's like, we'll be back. He's like, I'm going to go get the boat. And, like, we're going to come back. Whatever. You guys take your time. I'm playing my game. And then both the dogs are sitting down on different couches. And they're both snoozing, kind of like in and out. And I just, like, I can't really describe it. I just got this, like, very intense, like, fear of nothing in particular. Like, it wasn't a panic attack. It wasn't anxiety. Like,
yeah, that was my first guess. I was like, did you have a panic attack? And you're like, no, this was different.
No, like, I know what both of those are because I've had those before. It was just this really, really odd feeling of, like, complete isolation mixed with, like, fear of what that brings.
You described it earlier as, like, an extreme existential dread.
Yeah, that's, like, what it was. And it was literally to the point, like, I was in the middle of a game, and I turned it off, and I was like, okay, I just got to breathe. I'm going to watch YouTube. So I put on YouTube. I watched that for a little bit. It didn't go away. It was kind of like nagging almost in, like, the back of my head.
Wait, what did you watch on YouTube? Did
I
you watch Camping with Steve?
No, I didn't.
Everyone go watch Camping with Steve.
Yeah, Steve Wallace. That's my guy. Anyways, no, so I'm watching, I think I was watching somebody play the MLB The Show, like I was watching one of those guys.
Oh, the little man?
I think it was, actually.
Hell yeah,
I like him. He's funny. But anyway, so I'm watching YouTube, and I couldn't do it. I just, like, couldn't focus. So, I turned that off, and, like, the TV was still on. Like, I didn't want there to be, like, nothing on. So, like, it was on, but it was just on, like, the dashboard of the Xbox.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, I am a very nicotine-dependent person.
All right.
I mean, Jake knows that already. He's like, yeah, all right. Like,
that's fine, yeah.
He knows. But so I had my vape. Views, I will rep that until I die.
There you go.
Sponsor me, Views. Anyways, so I have it in my hand, and normally the best time for me to do it is, like, if I start to get a little, like, antsy or, like, anxious, it kind of helps me, like, focus on just doing that.
Helps you hone.
So it's like I don't have that anxiety. It kind of, like, subsides. So I did that, and that did not help me at all. It was actually worse. And usually it does help. If for any of those out there that, like, vape or smoke cigarettes, like, if you're ever experiencing an intense emotion, nicotine always makes it better. Even if it's good, bad, or whatever, it improves the feeling.
It's like something you have control over.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking, like, this is what I'm accustomed to. Like, if I'm stressed out or something, like, I'll do it a little bit, and it's like, okay, it helps you breathe and unwind a little bit. I guess it doesn't help you breathe, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Very funny irony.
And it did not help me at all. Like, it did not help me at all. And I had my phone. And so I'm like, okay, maybe, I'll just kind of like go on TikTok or something.
The
just
phone,
like chill.
yeah, the phone is like the vape of the people.
It is. So I'm like, just watch something. That didn't help either. So I literally sat there for probably about 15 minutes and did nothing. I just sat in complete silence.
Just like terrified?
Well, that's what's weird. Like, it wasn't like terrified, like, like you're shaking, like looking around everywhere. It's like, it just felt weird.
It's like just the absence of ease.
Yeah,
basically.
like it just felt weird. Like I just like could not snap out of this like really weird, like I think I was explaining it to Mitch earlier and it was like it's fear for the sake of fear. Like there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just fear. Like it just is.
Well, that sounds awful. That just sounds bad.
And like yeah, it wasn't to the point where like I couldn't, like I was having trouble breathing, but it was like to the point where it was just like, all right, like I don't, I got to snap out of this. So I'm like, you know what, like, I was like, I'm gonna call him, and I know JLo didn't have her phone because it was in the house. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna call her.
Well, she's down by the water. You can't bring.
So
her
I
down
called
there.
him. I was just like, not to like tell him what's going on. I didn't want to freak anybody out. Just to hear like a familiar voice, just to like kind of like try to think that would bring me back.
Yeah, to not have to like point that fear at some situation that you might like overthink. Like, what if they're dead?
Yeah,
You'd be like, oh, they're down there. I'm here. Everything's fine.
So yeah, I was kind of just like, all right. So I talked to him. He was laughing. He was like, oh, he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, we, the current kind of pulled. He's like, we're on our way. He's like, we'll be there in about 10 minutes.
We're in the ocean right now.
Okay, so we're in the ocean. He's like, I was trying to show her something, and like it pulled us, and like we kind of got like fucked over there. And I was like, no, like don't worry about it. Like, I'm good. Like I just wanted to know what was going on.
Just making sure Victor Crowley ain't back or something.
And like I didn't really like remember that. So like he had ordered a pizza from this pizza place that I really like. So he was gonna go pick it up because he was like, the dogs are in the water. He's like, I don't want them like running around the house like dirty.
Dogs are in the water sounds like some sort of code.
So maybe you got dogs in the water.
You're just like, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
I like that.
All right, dogs are in the water. What does it mean? Is that some sort of hot dog joint? What is that?
It's a hot dog joint.
Is it sex? Maybe.
I think it is.
It might
dogs
be
in the water.
sex. Dogs in the water.
So, anyways, he's ordering the pizza, and he was like, "Hey, when I come home, he's like, I'm just gonna hop in my car and like go pick it up." And he was like, "JLo said she'd wash Navi if you want to give her a hand." I was like, "All right, yeah, I don't care." So she comes in, and like she's looking at me like really like funny, and like I'm still feeling it, like I'm still kind of in that crisp zone of like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean?
Tight jawed, yeah.
And she's like, okay, like whatever. She's like, I'm gonna go hop in the shower. So like I go over there, and like she's like talking to me, and I'm like not listening. Like I'm just kind of like present. And so she gets out, and she's like, all right, well I'm gonna wash Navi. She's like, you wanna occupy Mila, so she's not like getting over here. So we do the dogs. Everybody's clean.
We do the dogs.
And, oh God, no.
Yeah.
And so she sits down, and I'm in there, and she's like, really, she's doing like that, relationship thing where they like press without pressing. Like for info, they're like, come on.
It's under the guise of really worrying about you, which they are, but it's mostly just like, are you sure you're all right?
Yeah. So
are
I'm
you
like,
sure?
So I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like the answer is yes, but like I'm just very like afraid. She's like, well, what are you afraid of? I was like, I don't know. And she was like, well, did you think we like died? I was like, no, like that wasn't even like a thought in my head. Like you shouldn't even put that in there now. You're here, but what if you do?
Well, I did eat these withered up mushrooms I found.
But
I thought they were going to go bad. I didn't want to waste them.
She's like, I was on the inner tube, like behind the kayak, and she's like, I heard you, and you asked us like twice, like, are you guys okay? And we were like, yeah. And he was like, apparently I asked again. I was like, are you like sure? You're like okay? And they were like, that was just like weird. And then like he came home, he was like, hey man, like you doing all right? Like, can I get you something? I was like, No, like I'm okay. Like I don't know. I just like kind of it slowly subsided over the next couple hours, like
Yeah.
little bit by little bit. And even now, like I mean, this was almost 2 weeks ago. I cannot explain like what I was afraid of. I can't do it. I don't know what it was.
I'm imagining they walked in and you were probably white as a fucking ghost.
I might have been because
You know,
they were
like-
they were kind of like, is everything okay? I was like, yeah, it is, but okay.
But you know,
Anywho, that night is where shit gets really weird. And this is where everything kind of comes back in a full circle to the beginning of the story.
yeah. And we'll visit back to your sense of fear and my theory
Yes, yes.
as to why.
So this is a short little snippet, but this is probably the most interesting portion of the tale. So the way that we're sitting is Jayla's on the couch, and I'm next to her, and he is on the other side, like on the other couch, and we were I think we watched the last episode of Stranger Things or something.
Sweet. Dude, I
he-
finished that too.
Because I wanted to watch it, and like I think it was more of like Jayla wanted to watch it too, but she's like he only watched like the first season, and I was like, well, we don't have to watch it. And I think it was one of those things. She's like, it seems like you had a rough day. Do you want to just watch it? Like maybe that'll be like what you need,
Yeah.
you know? So I was like, whatever, we'll watch it. So we watch it, and then we're eating our pizza, we're having a good time. And it's over. It's probably about 12:30, 1 o'clock, because it's like a fucking 40-hour episode.
Yeah. It's long as shit.
Anyway, so we're sitting around, and we watch a movie. Believe it or not, I'm going to talk about this more on the Patreon. But Jake, I know you'll know what I'm talking about. The movie The Bye Bye Man. We saw it. Like, we didn't watch the movie, but we saw the
What?
title.
Yeah.
I watched it. We watched it, and it was actually good. It was
Really?
actually good. I'll go more in depth into that later.
Well, for the Patreon, I'll have to watch that because that is always one of those movies that I just like scroll past because I'm like, oh, the Bye Bye Man. I just think it's gonna be the Babadook. I'm just like, I've seen that.
It was surprising, like it was cheesy, like a Netflix type of horror movie, but
Sweet.
it was actually good.
All right.
Like it kept me interested the whole time.
Okay, save it for Patreon.
Yeah, so we're watching it, and she falls asleep. So we're like kind of picking on her. Me and him are just chit chatting, kicking the shit.
Yeah. Bye Bye Man's in the room.
And she's sleeping on the couch. And right behind the couch, like against the couch, is a window, like a sliding glass pane window with like a screen on it. And so we're sitting around, and the movie ends, and him and I are just kind of like kicking the shit, and just doing our thing. I got a side question.
What?
This is completely unrelated to the show.
What do you
but I was
want?
just informed of right now.
What?
Are you eting?
No, I'm going home
Okay.
playing the video game that we're gonna review. Why does it? It's DayZ. It's an amazing video game. We're gonna play that tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave right after. So thank you. But
I
no.
was inquired. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, so we're sitting there. The movie ends. It's about 2:40-ish at night. Like, it's late. And so we're sitting around, and he's like, man, I think I might go upstairs and go to bed. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, I'll get Jayla up. We'll move her. I'll get her to go over to the bed so she's not crunched up on the fucking couch.
It would have been funny if you were like, no,
No,
I think you
we're
should
not.
stay.
And so he's like, I'm gonna run outside. I'm gonna let the dogs out. So he goes and lets the dogs out, and I'm talking to Jayla. She's like, she's like half asleep, half awake, and she's like, yeah. She's like, all right. She's like, did Navi go to the bathroom? I'm like, yeah, he's going right now. So she's like, all right, give me a second. So she like does that thing where you stretch and then go back to sleep.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Totally fine. I get it. I'm like, that's cool.
I was late for work this week. That exact reason.
I'm like, I'll give you some time. I don't care. That's fine. And I'm still kind of like shaken up a little bit, so I'm like energized. Like I can sleep, but like I'm still up, And so the dogs come in, and he's like, "Hey man, like I'm gonna run upstairs. You need anything?" I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I got it." So he's like, "All right, well I'll see you in the morning." So he goes upstairs, and the dogs follow him because his dog sleeps upstairs with him, and Navi's just curious as fuck, so he goes upstairs.
Yeah, he's a curious young man.
And the window, we're getting a nice breeze. So we're sitting there, and I'm going to try to recreate it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
My favorite is when you create noises.
Let me
on
wet
the
my
podcast.
lips. Let me wet my lips. I'm
Yeah,
gonna try.
you do some vocal exercises like the.
Batter, butter, butter, batter, butter, butter, batter, butter. I don't even need my voice. But okay, I'm gonna try. Don't laugh
Right.
at my horrible ability of whistling. But I'm gonna try to give
Wait,
you
you're-
what I heard.
It's a completely different thing. You gotta warm up in a different way.
Okay.
You gotta kiss a bunch.
That was actually almost identical to
It
what
was
I
like
heard. Yeah.
I'm blowing a lot of air. I feel like that's big.
And it was very consistent. It didn't stop, and it didn't move at all. At all.
So it didn't sound like a car alarm.
Well, at first, that's what I thought. But it was so close.
That's got more of a dip. It's like.
Yeah.
You
And,
know?
like, at first, that's, like, immediately what I thought. Because it was, like, it kind of had that twang on it.
Yeah.
But it was so close. Like, it literally sounded like it was across the street. And I was like, well, across the street is woods and a fucking 50-foot tall mountain. And if it was up there, it would echo. You would hear the echo, the reverberation from the mountain.
Or you might not even hear it because it's going outward and down.
Yeah, so it's like, it wasn't up that high. It was something that was, like, close, like, on our level. And that's what Jayla woke up. She was like, what the fuck is that? Navi comes downstairs. He saunters downstairs.
Oh, so it was loud enough to wake Jayla up?
Yeah.
I was always kind of picturing it, as you were telling it earlier today, I thought it was kind of just like just a background thing.
No, it wasn't very faint. So Navi saunters down, She's up and she's talking to me. And he plops down on the couch. And it kind of like, it goes in and out. Like it slows down. Like the speed remains, but like, it like kind of gets like softer and louder. But like it's in the same position.
Yeah.
And it's getting a little bit louder. Like we hadn't heard it. And for those of you that have dogs, when something weird happens, they'll react to it. But it's typically out of curiosity. At least in my dog, it's like, if it's not a threat, he's going to look at it, stand up, kind of survey it, and then he'll go into like dog mode of like barking.
Like
and,
barking,
getting,
yeah.
Getting the spikes and all that.
Yeah, the only things that really get him like spiky on his back, the hairs spiking up, is like the male woman when she's like right outside the window.
Yeah, that's because he could almost touch her.
Yeah, or like a cat.
Yeah. So it didn't do that. It immediately, like, he went from laying down in like a little cinnamon roll position,
Yeah,
to immediately up, growling spikes, taut tail, and showing teeth at the window.
he doesn't usually show teeth. I'm here enough to know that.
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever seen him do it, like, in my life. I didn't know he was capable of it.
I've like lifted up his lip. You know how you play with dogs' lips, and you're like, oh, look at that, and you just like flop it down. I feel like they hate it, but I love doing that.
Yeah, it was alarming, and we kind of looked at each other, didn't think anything of it, and he comes running down the stairs, like full on sprinting, jumps
Wait.
over a coffee table.
Who is he? It's not Navi.
His name's Rocky.
Yes, I was just making because
Yeah.
it didn't.
Why am I not doing the name thing? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't
it's-
have either of their permission, but they're gonna do it anyway.
I mean,
so
they
fuck
love
it.
you. Everyone in this story is like very close to. I feel like it's fine.
Yeah, so Rocky.
You're not like
runs,
doxing them, giving them an address or something.
Runs down the stairs, jumps over a coffee table, and while he's coming downstairs, we're getting a little annoyed. So Jay was trying to close the window, like slide it closed, so it'd be a little bit softer.
Yeah.
And he runs downstairs, doesn't even think twice, but pushes her arm out of the way and slams it shut and clicks the lock. And then he like goes into the kitchen, and we're like kind of looking at each other like, what the fuck?
Just wordless, no words.
No words.
That's
kind of weird.
freaky.
Goes into the kitchen, he comes back, and he's like, sorry about that. He's like, I just had to come down and make sure I locked the front door.
He went into not the bathroom, the kitchen to be like, how do I explain this? I have to lie. That's it. And then he walks back out like, sorry about that, everybody.
It was weird.
It's super casual.
And we didn't think about it, so we go to bed. It's bedtime. We go to bed. The next night is the last night, so we get home, and we're like, let's have like a fire. He's like, I got some. He's like, I got some cardboard and some old like wooden paneling that like I'm gonna burn, like start a fire.
Sweet.
So we were like, all right, cool. So we're sitting outside, and this is where things get like strange in a different way. the way the river goes, like when you're looking at it, to the left it goes on, parallel, and then to the right it kind of curves and opens into like a canyon. So like there's different, I guess, ways that you could yell and your echo would return to you.
Sweet.
And we discovered this, and because the dog barked at like he was mad that she had his ball or something, and like within maybe like there's like a 3-4 second delay, and the bark like came back, and it freaked him out because he was like, "What the fuck?"
3 to 4 seconds. That's a long ass time.
Yeah, so like we were doing, and then we were just having fun with it. So we were just yelling and like screaming, and like I was like Navi. I like yelled really loud, and he like looked at me and like put his head back down. He's like, "Oh, he's just fucking with me." And then he heard it from like a long distance away, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Did you do the Grinch thing? He's like, "Hello,
Yeah,
how are you?"
we did.
I asked you first. Yeah, nice.
And then Rocky made a comment that made me think later. All of this kind of came to fruition later after like evaluating everything. And he said something. He's like, "Yeah, blah blah." Oh no, I know what it was because we heard some coyotes, and they were actually taking down a deer because like we heard the howl, and then you heard like like how a deer makes that like like we heard that.
Hey, Sam, man, your noises are fucking top notch.
So we heard that, then we heard another fucking thing.
Yeah. Just nature is pursuing itself.
What was it?
Texted?
I'm looking
You
at
texted?
something. Hold on, I'm not ignoring you.
Okay. The deer.
Yes. Oh, that hurt my throat. Anyways.
Too many deer noises.
Okay. So we were listening to that. And we were chit-chatting, back and forth. We were like, man, that deer got fucked up. Like, they're eating good tonight. And he made a comment of like, yeah, he's like, it's not really the nature you got to worry about around here. And like,
It's all the...
it was weird to like hear that.
I was going to say something. It would just be a whole different tangent.
And like, as I pressed for more info on what he meant by that, the whistle came back. And it was in the exact same spot. Now, keep in mind, we're in the back of the house now. So like, we could hear it outside. But we're a little bit more distance away from it.
Yeah, there's a house between you now.
But it happened, and as soon as that happened, he got up and he was like, "All right, you guys ready? We'll call it a night." And we were like, kind of like sitting outside, like, "Well, we don't have this shit back home. Like, I kind of want to hear this fucking coyote. Like, I want to watch him eat."
Yeah.
And it was more like, "All right, we'll go in." So, anyways, that was the end of the weirdness that happened.
So he was pretty persistent on getting you all inside, though, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Enough to where, like, it was odd. And I know what you're thinking, that all of this sounds very, like, mundane. But when we were coming back home, we were listening to, like, comedy specials, That was our ride home.
I gotta know who. Who are you listening to?
So we watched, I say watched, we fucking listened. We listened to Dave Chappelle, like the newest one.
Okay.
Then I don't even know what order we were. No, okay, I'll give you the exact order.
Okay.
So we were kind of like going back and forth. So I picked that one. Then she picked Steve Harvey, which, believe it or not,
never listened to his stuff.
Did not know that he had a stand-up special. It was good.
I only know him from ridiculous reactions to sexual answers on Family Feud.
It was pretty fucking funny.
All right.
It was pretty funny.
Heard he's real sexist in real life.
I didn't really get that vibe.
I don't assume that it would come through in his work, but this is just what I
believe it. I believe it.
But I did hear that from my mom, and I don't know how much she's checking her facts there. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Whatever happened, yeah. Either way, Steve Harvey, hell yeah.
But it was good. Then we kind of switched off. So then I did George Carlin, and then I was like, well, what do you want to listen to? She's like, just you put on another one. She's like, I don't really like know a lot of comedy. I was like, well, neither do I. But anyways, then I was like, all right, we'll tone it down a little bit. We'll go from George Carlin shitting on the world. We'll do some Jim Gaffigan. We'll just keep it mild.
Simply talking about food.
Yeah, so we did that, and then after that we kind of took a break. We were just, literally for 2 hours, or maybe not 2, it was an hour and a half. We were just driving in like no radio. We were just talking.
That's nice.
And that's when we really started to unpack everything that I've told you in this episode, and it was that was weird. the minute details about what happened was so strange that it was just odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can see where you wouldn't notice that in the thick of it. You know, you're in party mode, you're vacation, you're just like, hell yeah, we're here to have a good time.
Yeah, and it was just weird. Some of the reactions we got from Rocky, like the way he like handled that noise, it could have very easily been nothing. I never pressed him for more info, but it just seemed like it seemed like in a movie, like he was the guy that knew something that didn't tell.
Yeah.
You know?
And then it comes out after something terrible happens, and there's like 4 less members of the group.
Yeah, like, I could be wrong. Maybe he just had a burst of energy and just wanted to come get a glass of water. I don't fucking know.
Maybe.
But the timing was just odd. There, so many things about what I experienced there were odd. And that's when we really kind of discovered that like, I'm not going to say it was, I had insane paranormal experiences, because they could all very easily be explained by just natural occurrences in the world.
It's true, I suppose.
But, I don't want to pick a side on that, but it's like, it was just enough weirdness to where I felt that we could talk about it on this show.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing that we still haven't really brought up, but maybe the connection of when you had your sense of dread and fear, and the location that you were sitting, possibly, that we just discovered.
So,
because Grant just told me this outside, like 10 minutes before we started the podcast. I was like, "What about this?" And he was like, "Oh my god."
So, yeah, it is interesting. So where on night 1, where the Hat Man was seen,
infamous shadow creature,
was in the hallway, and in that hallway was where I would park my wheelchair every night, almost directly where it was spotted. And on that first night, I didn't, because we were still kind of like trying to figure out where it would be best, to like kind of be out of the way.
Yeah.
So it was in a different spot that night. But then we figured out, we were like, well, the hallway, it's right here. Like, it's just easier, because then there's no blockage in case, someone needs to get through or go to the bathroom. Or
fire
whatever.
hazards and such.
So the night after that is when that started. And that's a weird connection. And there's also one other weird connection that I didn't think of, and I'm a little ashamed to admit that I didn't think of it.
Yeah, you're already parking your chair where a fucking demon entity or some shit is.
This was a Mitch realization today as we were regaling him with all these tales that we had. I think that's the second time I've said regale.
Regale is a great underrated term. You should use it more, honestly.
You should. But we were talking to Mitch about it, and he kind of was like, he was listening. And then when we were like kind of taking a pause, he was like, well, isn't that where Chestnut Ridge is? And I was like, I thought about it for a minute. I don't know. I know it's somewhere out there, like east of us, but I don't know exactly where that would be.
Yeah, go listen to our episode on Chestnut Ridge.
Yeah,
if you haven't.
Yeah,
and
need to.
You will realize the weight and magnitude of what is about to be said.
So we're looking at it, and we're explaining it to Jayla, because she's unaware. She's like, I've never heard of that. And she's like, well, let me look it up. She's looking. There's, a Chestnut Street in the town next to us. We're like, no, that's not what we're talking about. So we kind of give it the full, like, the quick 5-minute synopsis of what Chestnut Ridge is all about. And it turns out that where we were on vacation for a week was smack dab in the center of Chestnut Ridge.
Insane.
Dab in the fucking middle of Chestnut Ridge.
And I was pissed off that you weren't going to go to fucking Point Pleasant to see the Mothman statue, but you were in the fucking middle of Chestnut Ridge.
We were, and you know what else is out there
Holy
that
fuck.
I completely forgot about is Kecksburg.
Oh, like Keck the meme?
No, the Kecksburg incident, like the UFO. Oh. And they have like the UFO, I think it's called maybe it's not the Kecksburg Festival, but they do like the UFO festival every year.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah.
Yeah, that's out there as well. So yeah, we were in the smack dab center of a very strange paranormal hotspot in the continental United States.
Good fucking Lord.
And that was our vacation.
That tracks. That was your sense of relaxation, and now you're back. Oh, good Lord.
It was weird, and again, kind of breaking it down piece by piece, the Bigfoot story very easily could have been any form of animal out in the woods, or it could have been fucking some guy hitting a tree in his yard and it carried through the valley or something.
Equally mysterious and scary.
True. The Hat Man you can't really explain. That one's a very personal experience that I didn't have, and there's not a lot of. You could try to debunk that, but you can't tell someone that they didn't see it.
Yeah. Your fiance's haunted as fuck.
Then the next one would be like that fear I was explaining. Again, that could be a very natural thing. I'm predisposed to anxiety. I have been like my whole life, but like that. That's why I knew it was different because I'm used to being anxious. You're just
like, this is weird.
Like I'm very used to it. I'm almost comfortable being anxious because that's what I'm accustomed to.
Yeah.
And this was something that I hadn't experienced before and was very different. Again, not saying that can't be some type of natural phenomena.
It's anxiety after dark.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
And then lastly would be the whistling that I've personally connected. Now, this is my own thing. I'm not connecting this for you. This is for me. I connect this all back to the beginning of the vacation where the word skinwalker was seen as a bad word that is not to be said.
Yes.
Do not know if they're if that's a thing, if people are used to that. But it was odd enough to where I think it was something that I've never seen in my real life, whether it be an animal or not. It was something that I didn't know existed either way, so it was very unique to me in general. But yeah, I mean that it could all be explained, perhaps.
Yeah. So here we go. We got shadow people. We have possible Bigfoot. We have skinwalkers, and just an overpowering sense of dread that just came upon you.
Yes. That
sounds like an excellent vacation.
It was weird, man. But I liked it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, like while you were gone, my fucking car died, and I have a different one now, and it sounds better than what I was doing, honestly.
It was funny because I feel like it. I gotta be honest. If I had noticed that, like the things I'm talking about now, if I had noticed them while I was there and thought about them the way I'm thinking of them now, I really don't think I would have had a good time. I think I'd have been very nervous.
Dude, I was kind of surprised that you were continuing to have a good time because we were kind of like texting back and forth here and there because you didn't have really a set time that you were going to come home. You were just going to kind of play it by ear.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, should I come over Thursday or Friday? Or like, because we got to do the podcast. You're like, no, we're going to be like hanging out here. I have a shit ton of stuff to tell you. All this crazy fucking shit's happening. And you were like telling me like the little kind of like elevator pitch versions through text. And I was like, what the fuck?
And dude, that was before.
And that was like 3 days before you even left there.
That was before the fear. And that was before the skinwalker.
You caught the fear.
Yeah. I had the fucking
Grant
fear
caught
virus.
the fear in the mountains.
I love that. That shit's fucking gold.
Oh, yes.
Jake does not get enough credit for being hilarious.
Thank you.
That just needs to be noted right now.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. But yeah, I talked to you before the two things that really blew my mind actually happened. So I don't know what the fuck that was. I don't know how. I don't know what that vacation was.
Even then, like when we were talking through text, I was like, this is going to be great fucking pod fodder. This is going to be great.
Man, I'll tell you what.
Man.
It was strange. It was fun. I definitely enjoyed my vacation. Looking back on it, both of us, even today, like talking about it with Mitch and you guys, we kind of had this moment where we looked at each other like, that was fucking strange. Like,
this was kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
what just happened this whole week of our lives? That was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, this was an odd occurrence. Yeah, I don't really know how to explain any of it. I think that's the point of it. It's kind of just an interesting tale. But I would put this on par. Now, granted, there were a couple more experiences, but I would put this on par if you guys remember way back in our catalog when we did the Northwest Indiana Ghost one.
Oh, yeah, we went to Rena Road,
Yeah.
and we were just like, oh, we heard some noises. And there were deer everywhere.
Yeah, we heard and saw some things.
Yeah,
that
we heard some knocking. That was weird, man.
we did, and we experienced some things that, again, could have a completely natural explanation, but to us not having that explanation seemed very odd, and the way they all happened together made it even weirder. You know?
Yeah.
And I would put it on par with that same type of experience of, I can't even tell you what I think it was because I have no fucking idea.
But it was for 5 or 6 days rather than like 25 minutes.
Yeah. It was just an odd little fucking thing. It was a great time. We had a good time. I was in Chestnut Ridge, man.
God
that's what I was
damn
doing.
right. Again, go listen to that and you'll get some more context for why we're both just like, oh, fuck it, of course. Jesus Christ. You know?
Yeah, and I'm a little ashamed that I didn't even know that at the time. Like, it didn't even dawn on me. I didn't even think about it.
I was too focused on Mothman and disappointed that you weren't going to drive the extra 5 hours to go see him.
I'm glad I didn't, because after that week, man, I don't want to add shit to that fucking fire. I just don't.
Yeah, no.
I can't add any fuel. I'm not doing it.
Well, like I said, I mean, while you were doing that, my fucking van died, and I've just been working.
Rest in peace to Bertha, the van.
Rip
that I've
my
named.
van. The fucking gas guzzler that's been a pain in my ass. And I just put new fucking tires and brakes on it. And now the transmission's shot. It's going to be picked up and
Take
donated.
the brakes and tires and just keep them. I paid for this.
Yeah, scrap them.
I paid for these bastards. These are mine.
Fuck.
Huge announcement for the nerds out there. That's essentially our episode.
Yeah, dude, I was so stoked to hear. Because, like I said, when we were talking through text, I was like, this is going to be an episode. I know it. And I'm actually surprised it took over a fucking hour.
Yeah, it went on.
It's awesome.
It lasted.
I'm very pleasantly surprised.
I have one thing I have two things I'd like to say that are unrelated to the episode at hand here, but do fit into our personalities and the things that we talk about.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I will not spoil a single thing. I promise you I will give you absolutely nothing. I did see Nope last night.
You did. You weren't playing DayZ with us. We were disappointed with you at the time. But then I was like, well, I want to see that movie. I understand.
Yeah, we went to see it. It was really good. It was incredible. I'm not going to lie.
From the trailers, it looks like Skinwalker Ranch. Without giving anything away, can you confirm or deny that? If you say sorta, that's fine also.
Sort of is the way I'd put it.
Excellent news to me.
I will tell you this. If you're a fan of Jordan Peele's work, it's extremely different. The way I described it is like Get Out and Us. They're good movies, but like they have very not hidden social commentary in them.
Pointed points.
There's a very specific point to be driven home in those.
And Tim Heidecker's in one of them. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And this one, it has that too if you want to make it that. But all in all, this one really is just a sci-fi movie. Like there's no overarching point or message to the movie. At least not overtly, I mean, you can make it what you want it to be by the end.
So, like, he's just putting characters in a situation.
Yeah, it's very different. It's not anything you would expect in the slightest, and it's just a good movie.
I want to go see that. I usually go to the movies on Tuesdays with Karen.
Dude, I'm a member of that now.
But Tuesday's her birthday, and I don't want to be like,
ooh,
oh, we gotta go see this movie on your birthday. Because I want to see it. No, we're going to do birthday stuff. But
I was, we were
but I will see it.
We were sold. We are now members of the movie theater, and we get the $5 tickets.
So, yeah, that's why we go on Tuesdays. We're just like, let's just fucking catch a movie. We watched Where the Crawdads Sing.
I heard good things.
Apparently nothing like the book. If you want a sort of romance story with some rape in it, sort of weird. It's... Dude, every romance movie I've seen, like The Notebook, super
gotta have some bad shit in it,
Super, like The Notebook was rapey. This one has rape in it.
Gross.
And I thought it was fine, and Kara was like, I didn't even like it. It's like, this was your choice. But no, it's fine. It was a fine movie. I had a good time because I was with her. But
all right, yeah, I definitely recommend it. If anyone's gonna see a movie, it's good.
Nope is on my list. That's the next one.
It's a good flick. It really is.
Off.
I'm not gonna give anything. There's a semi subplot that like it plays into the overall plot, but it's unrelated to the actual events of the film, and it is I've been talking about it since I've seen it. It's incredible. I loved every second of it.
I cannot wait.
And the next announcement. This is for the other nerds like me out there. We have some Walking Dead news. All right. I don't know if anyone's heard. I did text the group last night.
Yeah, you texted
you're
me,
aware.
so I know about it. But go ahead.
The Rick Grimes movies have been officially canceled by AMC.
Fuck.
Bad news, but good news. He is getting his own spin-off series. I know people that like The Walking Dead are getting tired of him, but this is the only one that'll be worth your time because it's about the synopsis of the show is Rick and Michonne, the lovebirds from the series.
Yeah, Samurai Blade lady.
They will find each other in the gap. I'm assuming this is going to take place in the gap between season 9 and present in the show.
Probably.
And it's about them finding each other, possibly being parts of different groups and enemies, and then trying to find their way back to their family.
Yeah, I would hope so, because Judith is just doing a freelance growing up.
Yeah,
she's not really being raised. And her brother, what's her brother's name?
RJ.
RJ is also in the shithouse, right with Judith with her small samurai sword.
Ain't that the truth?
You know?
But that is that's the new updates for you. I'm excited. I think it's better than a movie because I'll tell you what, they had said the initial plan was like a trilogy of movies. The first 2 movies wouldn't have fucking meant shit. They'd have been a waste of time.
Probably not, if the movies track to like all the episodes and seasons do.
So at least this way we're cutting the bullshit and we're getting right to the action. But
Or at least they're staying in familiar territory. Also, another announcement. We've had a fan, one specifically, but also whoever else wants this. We're looking into a P.O. box. There's so many the U.S. Postal Service is a cunt.
yeah,
All right? I have to, have a very specific set of, non-photo IDs to get a fucking P.O. box and all that shit. I'm working all that out. I'm going to get my voter card number and all that shit. But anyway, there is a P.O. box coming. I'll announce it when it comes out. But it's just such a fucking pain in the ass.
it's on the way.
Anyway, Shawnee, yes, we love you.
But with all that being said, that is our episode. We appreciate the patience from you guys.
Yeah, so sorry. Life happens. We always say that. But you know what? It just does. And here's an example of it. So, love you.
Damn right. And we will be back on this Friday, Thursday for our patrons as well. Don't worry, you'll be getting a meteor episode. We know we missed one, so we'll be hooking you guys up with a nice little chunker of an episode.
A meteor?
Yeah. Meat. Yeah, it's meat on that
Oh,
sandwich.
I was thinking the space...
meteor? No, I
yeah,
meant meteor.
the space projectile for no reason.
But yeah.
How does that even start? How does a fucking meteor start?
I have no idea.
How does it get the momentum? Is it from an exploding star?
Possibly.
We're gonna have to look into this. Space,
Space is the shit. But I love you guys very much, and we will be back this week with brand new episodes. So I hope this one will hold you over for a couple of days.
No, very much so. It feels really good to be back doing this.
It does. We're back in the swing,
dude. After
baby.
doing this for 3 years and not doing it for 2 weeks, I was like,
what do I do with my
feel
mouth?
bad. I feel really bad.
What do I do now? I feel like I lost something.
But now I'm happy. So
how about them apples, guys?
how about those apples?
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
there's some sort of loud comedy special going on outside.
I hear Cat Williams.
I think it's Cat Williams.
I hear Cat Williams. But we love you guys very much. I appreciate you letting me take you on my little vacation journey.
I appreciate you not spoiling most of it until we got to this recording session so I could have actual reactions.
Oh, you
so
gotta
thank
keep
you
it
about
raw,
that.
baby. You gotta keep it raw.
That must have been hell for you.
It was. I like to talk.
Good.
But I love you guys, and I will see you on Friday and Thursday if you're a patron.
Yes, and I will also be there. I'm Jake. I'm the other half of the show. We are starting a cult that's grand. I'm Jake, and you can follow us on all the shit. It's Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Wait a minute. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't really matter, and YouTube.
There you go.
You know, all that stuff. And you can like and subscribe in all those places. And there is also the email, startacult@gmail.com. You can send us anything you want. And what else we got? We got the Patreon down below, which we're going to be recording some episodes every 2 weeks. We're probably going to do one this week and then maybe more stuff for them. I don't know. We missed some stuff, so We post a lot on there.
Yeah, we do.
So maybe you should go down there and donate and have access to all that. There's a lot of content. All right? We posted a little fucking snippet of it last week because we felt so bad. We're like, hey, here, take this. See what you're missing.
Here, enjoy.
Enjoy, everybody. I have to go get Mitch for bananas because we're going to do bananas today.
It's coming.
We're going to do bananas.
Mitch! He can't hear me, guys.
Can't hear us over Cat Williams.
If you hear some Cat Williams, this is not copyrighted information. I think it picks it up a little bit. You guys might be able to hear him a little bit.
Cat Williams?
Just like enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, bye, guys.
Yeah. Goodbye. This is Mitch with his piece, Bananas.